Hello and welcome to Sea Hope Podcast. I am Gary and this is John. And last week we went through my story of coming out the other side of domestic violence. This week we're going to be hitting in John's story of going through a horrible breakup that actually turned John into, I guess, the man he is today. So, John, before we get started though, please hit the like button. You know the drill. Hit the like button, share the show with your friends, and send us a subscription. Nah, just subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. We send one up every Monday. Tonight is live again. I know we said we might get the old recorded going, but this has been the easiest way to do it so far. But we do thus far. But we do have a few guests lined up for the future. So keep an eye out for that. And let's get started. John, tell me about the story of how you became you.
Well, the story about me coming me is more of how I've been reborn into John I am today, I guess. So I had obviously my upbringing. We've went over that. And then I got to like when you're 20 and living with your brother through your 20s.
Which brother?
Older brother.
Older brother.
Yeah. You got away with a lot. You can, be late on your bills and whatnot. You got to, someone to fall on. So responsibility was lacking, to say the least. Gone through early mid-20s, and then I got to about 28, and I was like,
so would you say like both of you were pretty irresponsible, and just one had to catch up, pick up the slack of the other? Or
no, we were amplifying each other to be as irresponsible as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So it got to a point where it's like we were both obviously brothers, big family. And we're like, we need to start having a family of our own separately, not together. And that requires responsibility.
Definitely do.
And that's what we're lacking in. So starting to look for, to meet the opposite sex and
women.
And pretty early on, I was like, yeah, if I go to the gym and meet someone at the gym, I got to keep going to the gym. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you're not a man to pump that iron.
No.
You get enough gym workout at your work.
Yeah, that's why I look so massive.
He doesn't look massive, but he's definitely very strong. I can attest to that. I've wrestled him a few times, but he cheats. He always grabs a brother to help him out.
Yeah,
because he can't take me by himself.
I think many men have taken you 1-on-1.
No one has.
Anywho, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, so wherever you go to find someone that needs, if you want it to be organic, it needs to be organic. So you can't be looking for it in a place that you wouldn't be, otherwise. How are we looking?
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. We just got our first comment already.
All right.
Someone's asking, how come no one is here? I don't know.
We're here.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're good to go. Is you can't see us? Is that why? I'm sure we're looking at ourselves in the camera, so hopefully we are here. Eva, let us know if you can see us or not. But John, continue. You're looking for the opposite sex.
Yes. So trying to find an organic place. I'm pretty quick on my feet. Got a bit of a ticker, so I can go long distance for running and whatnot. So I end up finding myself in mixed tag.
Mixed tag.
Yes.
How'd you get from running to mixed tag?
Well, I'm just good at. I already played men's, which is way more fun because like women aren't as good as guys, not in competition.
Just in sport in general.
Just like competitive nature. It's more. It's definitely more competitive in the men's. Yeah. Even if you suck, you're like, I want to make the tag still, or make that run or whatever it is.
And for everyone who doesn't know John very well, John is very competitive. He's not the greatest ever at everything, but he'll make sure he gives it 100, maybe even 200%, because he's just like gun ho. And yeah, let's
Yeah.
see.
It's about winning all the little things
That's
to
it.
win the bigger picture.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway,
And you're always in to the win it.
so found someone there. Was going for probably a year or year and a half before anything.
So you kind of saw this girl.
Oh, I thought she was all
She's
right,
pretty
but I
cool.
was like, anyone that I'm interested in, I don't talk to. So
Yeah.
that's the way to do it, apparently. But anyway,
Isn't it? Aren't you supposed to do like if you're interested in someone, you then be mean? Like what we do at school.
no,
I'm just joking. I'm Josh.
she had a twin sister that was also playing, and she promoted her sister forward and said, like, she's interested in you. Are you interested in her? And having not talked to her really, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Just casting glares every now and then. We don't really talk. But anyway, from there,
You are a man of few words.
yeah. Also, it's like, where do you start? I don't like making new friends. Like I did that in kindergarten.
Do you like playing Oztag?
Yeah, but that's competing. So I'm in a
Okay, so
element.
how did the conversation progress from hey friend, just at the
We didn't
old
talk
game?
like hardly at all. Like
Okay.
it was like zero.
So how did you get from zero talk to then, I guess, going out on a date with this girl?
She was just interested in me, and I was willing to go on a date, and I was like,
So she asked you.
her sister asked me on her behalf, but like testing the waters.
Yeah.
And I said yeah, and then I, contacted her over social media. And first date, I talked heaps, and I hate talking. Like I'm not. This is fish out of water what I'm doing right now, and that's what I was doing back then. She, I thought she hated the date.
So what was the first date? Explain the first date.
Oh, just talking heaps and asking her heaps of questions.
Get coffee, like
oh no, dinner,
of
course.
What'd you eat?
It was like a smokehouse. So I think it was like a smoked pork or something or other.
Yeah.
Brisket or whatever. Doesn't matter. That's not important. I thought she hated it, and I said, "Oh," when I dropped her off at the end of the day, I go, "Yeah, I enjoyed myself. Do you want to do it again?" And she said yes, and I was actually really shocked, to be honest, because she was giving me no joy there. Yeah, and that was the start of the relationship.
That was the start.
Yeah,
fiery start.
Yeah, and
you thought it was a terrible date.
Yeah, and then we kept seeing each other, and I wasn't getting any.
As in, like you just kept seeing each other at tag, but not like no. You kept dating.
We kept on like
going on dates.
I think a couple more dates, and I hung out at her house watching TV or whatever. But again, there's no like, I don't know.
Our guest is saying you need to learn how to flirt.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm married.
Not anymore. And they're about to leave. They're leaving because we said that I said we're both married. So.
Oh, okay. Oh well.
Thanks for dropping in, Eva. It was good to see you.
Next time.
Well, is it the old line? Is it doesn't matter if there's a goalkeeper, you can still. All right, John. Continue.
Yeah, so I wasn't really getting any sort of body language from her that she was enjoying my company. I was like,
but she kept agreeing to go on dates.
Yeah.
Who was asking? Like, were you both like,
I was promoting it forward, like,
yeah,
because I was like, oh, I like you, but like I can't tell if you like me, but yeah. Anyway, fast forward, we actually go, yeah, let's date.
It's become good boyfriend and girlfriend, make it official.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Facebook
That's
official.
like high school stuff there. I wasn't looking for high school stuff.
How old were you?
28.
28.
Yeah, that's prime years too for men. Physical and mental peaks, I'd say.
So it's all downhill from here for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, sorry, wife.
Sorry, wife.
And daughter, I guess.
Yeah. All the and all the future kids that you're about to have.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the start of the relationship, and it sort of was very similar where I couldn't really read what was going on, and I thought it was me throughout this whole relationship, but not to finish the story, but to jump ahead just quickly, it wasn't just me. There's something wrong here.
But you ignored that, or you just
I know, like when you care for someone, you make excuses and you look for external problems to blame. And I think that's pretty well what you were describing last week. If I'm able to condense that into a really small sentence,
yeah.
like you're making excuses for going, oh no, it's just maybe I'm just doing something wrong, or like it's either you or something external that's at fault, and you rose-colored glasses, they're fine.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yes, something similar to that, right? And like you think when you care for someone, like they're so precious, you don't want to think the worst in them, like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with them. And after the fact, obviously, you're like, oh,
it might be a man. It might be a man thing to look inwards before you look outwards. Anyway.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you had low self-esteem.
Maybe. Well, maybe I was just at an age where I was like, it's time to get married and start doing life, and this seemed like a good option at the time, but definitely not.
I was around 28 as well.
When you got married?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so very similar.
Maybe we're both desperate.
maybe we're both desperate.
Anyway,
I think the urge to have that family was pretty great for me as well. So
I was living with my brother. She was a year older too, and she was living with her twin sister. And it was a bit of a weird dynamic. I don't know. Maybe it's just her or twins. I don't know. It was a bit of a weird dynamic there, but I guess probably looking inwards, me and my brother was a weird dynamic. I don't know. But
yeah, I've met your brother. He's pretty great.
Yeah,
there could be a weird dynamic between you two.
Yeah, maybe.
Although I see you guys always have each other's backs. That's probably a good thing, especially in wrestles.
Yeah. But early on, it was like I can't move in with her, and like me and my brother, like I didn't want to, third wheel my brother. So, and her sister,
like have her move in with you guys.
Yeah. So it was discussed, and we're like, well, we get a house, and that will, progress the relationship forward. And that's not my line of thinking. That was hers.
Yeah. So what was the timeline of that?
We were dating for probably a year and a half or a year at that time.
Yep. And you
within the first, so she was a police officer. In the first 3 months, she had already applied beforehand to work at the Snow, and that's like a 5-month affair.
Yep.
So for the first year, 5 months were
long distance.
Yeah. So that's sort of, it doesn't count towards, I don't think it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Apparently
it does count. It
doesn't count.
There was no development in the relationship over those months. But yeah, so we've decided to save up for a house, and so we started saving out, which really meant cutting back, spending on extra things, and I started just eating tuna and rice. And when I got sick of that, I had rice and tuna.
It's a huge difference there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, quick enough. We had 5% together.
So you decided to, after a year of dating or so,
Yeah.
your first instinct was to get a house together.
Not
and that
the
was
first. Her first.
her first instinct was to get a house together.
My background is my parents stayed together.
Yep.
And for me, the marriage meant more than
Yes. Yeah.
watching their relationship like not be good, but stay together. The relationship was the testimony, not the house.
Yep.
And for her, for some reason, she thought that the relationship was the house, or at least putting that forward. I don't know if that's what she actually believed, but that was like a milestone that she wanted to reach before anything progressed.
Which is an odd thing. I think a house is a huge commitment. I think a house is probably a bigger commitment than like marriage. To be honest, like you're going into miles of debt together.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money in a house.
That's fine. Like, yeah, material things aren't my thing. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, buildings can burn down and all that, but it's the relationships that matter. That's what picks up all the pieces.
Yeah. And so did you get the house?
We got the house through COVID. So it was a bit of a different, I think, ordeal to normal.
Could you still look at houses during COVID? Or did you have to do it all from, I guess, afar?
Most of it was from afar, and then you'd book in a time slot and go, and like it was really like, you know, like quick as.
Yeah, right.
Which is fine. Like I don't care. House is a house, as long as it doesn't fall down around you. But yeah, that was what she wanted, and then through that COVID period, we had the house, and
started living together.
Living together, and things were seemingly like she seemed happier and less frumpy.
Less frumpy.
I think that's the best way to describe, like resting bitch face, frumpy.
Okay, so you got a background in Christianity. Were you practicing Christian at that point, or
explain that?
So
going to church, no. Did I have faith? Yes.
Okay, and the whole like things like sex before marriage.
Oh no,
like
that was out the window.
That was out the window.
Yeah.
Living together, kind of coveting together.
Yeah.
That was out the window.
Out the window.
Was that because you were kind of not holding to convictions, or is it just like
not holding to convictions?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, we all fall.
Yeah,
we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
yeah, for sure. But then so moving in together, and then I'm like, well, we got the thing.
Got the house.
Got the house she wanted. She wanted. I was happy. Like I'm happy with.
Yeah, you're happy with the house.
All that.
Yeah.
All that stuff, but it wasn't for me. Like it was. I was there and I was a part of it, but it wasn't like my striving to get.
Yeah.
But so I went out, got a ring, and said like, "This is your forever, but you know, marriage is my forever." You know, progression sort of thing.
So going back there, she's not a Christian at all, or
not a Christian,
not grown up in.
And looking back, quite what's the word? Resistant, put back.
Atheist? No,
like anti-Christian.
Anti-Christian. Well. Anti-Christian or anti-God? Because, like, I guess atheist is anti-theist, anti-God. Don't believe in.
I don't know, but she was very angry with Christianity in particular.
And yet, here she is dating a guy who's a professing Christian.
Yeah, and uncle, at least one side of her family was Christian.
Okay,
and I got along with them fine, and still have seen. Some of them since, and you know,
yeah,
they're fine. We get on fine.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, so moving forward,
so you got the ring.
Got the ring. And
how did you propose?
Well, it's through COVID, so you couldn't go out to anywhere.
At home, you just
at home, and I made like tried out a brand new recipe and made a homemade meal, and when she got home from work one day, had it already, candlelit dinner, that kind of stuff. I used to do a lot. Now I'm lazy.
As in just a lot, as in a lot for your, I guess, lot romantics kind of thing, or a lot is
Just a
like
lot.
in terms of you doing cooking, washing,
Cooking, cleaning,
like
washing,
domestic chores.
domestic chores, and like I'd still mow mow lawns. It wasn't like a role reverse complete. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
like anything that had to be done was
You just kind
done.
of did. So
And
out of 10, what would you rate your cooking?
oh, like I could follow a recipe.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna say that I can just make anything up because I know what goes together. I don't. But
Do you cook now in your current marriage?
very rarely. Camping, I do a fair bit of the cooking, but yeah, I'm lucky.
Sorry, we got sidetracked.
No, that's fine. So yeah, proposed. She said yes,
Proposed
and
over dinner?
she
Yep.
was so stoked, and I was like, oh, okay, and this is like a really genuine side to her that I hadn't seen really.
Yeah.
Like a few times, there's glimpses, but like really happy with it, and I was like, oh right,
That's awesome.
she's
Yeah.
really into me. I'm really into her. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, seems like the response you want.
Yeah. Anyway,
And when I proposed, I got her response went completely over my head.
what did she say?
Well, so I asked her and got down on one knee and
Are you talking about the French lady?
No. Sorry, my
Okay.
current marriage. Got down on one knee and I asked her, "Would you marry me?" And then she said, "Definitely." And I was only looking for the yes. So she said definitely, and I was
So
like, "So how bad?" And she's like, "Yes." I'm an idiot. But yeah, okay. So she's stoked. She's
yeah,
this kind of emotional side you haven't seen of her. I guess happiness. Like she's shown
really
happiness
happy.
before, but like
Oh,
this is like did another level.
yeah. So when I said let's date, she was stoked then,
Oh yeah,
and it was.
it wouldn't be right.
I don't know. The story hasn't ended yet.
All right, keep going. All right, keep going. I'm being a jerk.
Yeah. So we're engaged, and it goes on for a bit. And my understanding, and at least with my wife now, is that women get keen about weddings and start planning weddings.
Well, that's what happened to my wife.
Yeah.
Straight onto it. She smashed it.
Yeah. But didn't seem to like she liked being engaged, but didn't want a wedding and didn't want a big wedding. And like, oh, you invite all your family. This like probing heaps of questions. Like, oh, you have to have it in church. I'm like, oh, don't care about church. I'd rather like a pastor. Like under God, I want to be married.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I don't want to like a African lesbian. LGBTQ plus.
It's just let's just use bad terms. Just a secular minister, like someone who
way out there, hippie,
yeah,
whatever.
So not just you would like I guess a more traditional under God marriage, not just some celebrant.
Celebrant, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
with all them acronyms.
There's a whole
the plus.
Was she interested in getting married with the acronym plus the?
Oh, I know, but the
LGBT
very pro.
Okay, yeah,
very pro. My sister was a lesbian, so it would be very difficult to be
anti.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's a values kind of already.
There was already values, but like some. Like you don't want someone exactly like you. That would be just really mundane. You don't have to discuss anything really because it's already decided. Like it's a monologue at that point. So yeah, no, it's exciting for parts, definitely with the opposition. There were moments though that was so we had a discussion. Her friend was over, her sister was over, she was there, I was there. and the topic was abortion, and I was anti, and they're pro murder. So,
They're pro-abortion. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can say
Yeah.
murder.
But anyway, so the conversation went on and on and on, and I think it's much like it's just people picking a camp at the end of the day and sitting in it, right? It's no one's going to change their mind.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they think it's like this human rights issue, and then I go, well, yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes down to where you kind of put value on the on life.
And the friend
stuff.
ends up saying you're an effing idiot, and I'm like, well, that's a bit much, a bit extreme.
Yeah.
And that was sort of where that I go, well, no one's changing anyone's mind. Let's just not
let's not
talk about
let's not keep going with it.
Anyway, and then next day, she has a go at me for stuff to do with the night before, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we had everyone, like, you sided with them against me, which is okay. That's your opinion. That's fine. But then when your friend calls me an effing idiot, you don't even go, oh, like that's a bit much.
Yeah, how about
like,
we all calm down?
Yeah. It's just like sort of like I deserved it. And she goes, oh, well, she apologized. I'm like, well, I didn't get an apology. I didn't hear an apology. She goes, oh, no, she texted me. I'm like, that's not.
Was it, can you tell John that I'm sorry?
Yeah, like what you're bringing up now is like.
But she's still having a go at you during this.
Yeah. But that was the issue with a lot of the arguments is I'd have the information that I had from the reality.
Yeah.
And I'd bring that up, and then it'll be like, oh, but there's this other thing that I haven't mentioned till now that, frees me of guilt, and you still hold all that blame. Like every argument would be like, oh, but you didn't even count this into your equation. And I'm like, well, that wasn't a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. So she would bring up extra stuff.
It's extra stuff that wasn't known or wasn't true. I don't know.
Yeah.
And every time, like, so there was a bit of a divide because she had this, and I feel really bad for what emergency services have to see and witness.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, oh, like, how was your day and stuff? Nothing happened. And 3 days later, oh, my shoulder is playing up because of that old injury that got re-aggravated the other day when I got tackled at work by some junkie or whatever. I'm like, well, okay.
You didn't tell me anything about it.
And even when her dad died, I found out like 3 days after from like being like a third person in a conversation. Like I was just a bystander in a conversation.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, oh, right. So your dad's dead. That's like something, like a partner would know before, like, hearing it in third, like, it was really weird like that, where I wouldn't hear what's actually happening at work, and it'd be fair enough that I don't hear about it, but as in like she's trying to save me from it, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, she could have been doing that.
Yeah, except for when there's an argument. Oh, you don't understand that I had this happen to me at work the other night. I'm like, you're not telling me. Yeah, I'm not a freaking mind reader.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny now, but at the time it was like so frustrating. Like I was just like trying to process everything, and it's like impossible to process.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't out there in the open.
And how did that make you feel? At the time?
Well, like really conflicted, because I felt really bad for her, because I'm hearing like someone I care about is going through all this conflict at work.
Yeah. And then you're just like...
And I'm like, but we've got to sort out all this crap at home.
Yeah.
And I can't do that without, like, they're both like symbiotic. You have to...
Yeah.
If you're doing crap at home, it's going to affect your work. If you're doing crap at work, it's going to affect your home.
Yes.
And me not knowing about anything that's going on isn't helping either one.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that going on. And it got to a point where I said, we need to go see counselling and sort out counselling, couples counselling. It might work for some people, but it definitely didn't work for us. A lot of it was me just saying my worries and her just saying, oh, no, he's just thinking things are happening but aren't happening. And I go, virtually like gaslighting. Well, I guess if you if you put 2 and 2 together, it makes 4.
Yeah.
Most of the concerns I had, I said, like, I don't see you sticking around. Like, it looks like, it feels like you're just gonna up and leave.
Okay, so before was it your idea to go marriage counseling?
Couples counseling, yeah.
Couples counseling?
Yep.
Sorry, couples counseling. And was she keen on it at the beginning? Like,
No. She goes, if that's what you need, that's what you need, and we'll do it.
I
Like,
think that might be a kind of a thing. Like, is if both partners aren't willing to, I guess, go into it full and want to kind of see that there is something wrong here,
yeah,
we need to work on it. That makes an actual kind of a hindrance to the actual
yeah,
work that might be done in couples marriage counseling. Because it was when I went through it, it was like, we need to go to this because you're doing the wrong thing. And so we go through, but nothing, I always had to be doing the work that was set out for both of us, but she never had to do the work that was set out for both of us. So I kind of feel like there's a thing there where one person who's like, yeah, we'll do this and we'll work at it, and the other one's like, if that's what you need, or that's what
yeah.
you need.
We didn't get a lot of homework. It's more talking in the sessions, and then he would explain what was happening. But like, I would rather the homework, because then I get my head around what's actually going on. Where when an expert goes, using jargon, I'm like, well, that went over my head, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But then later on, I got some resources that I read through or listened to, and that helped, which I'll list at the end. But so it was a lot of me just saying, oh, this is my worry, this is my worry, this is my worry, which some things could be just neuroticism from you seeing your parents' relationship not work so well or whatever. It could be like a multi-factor thing, but there's people's behavior doesn't help, if you know what I mean. Like, if it's like, oh, it really worries me when you do this, can you maybe do either reassure me when you do it that it's not leading to this or whatever. It's I don't think it's too much to ask for if you want to be with that person. Like, and that they've obviously got issues. If that issue is on me, but it turns out that everything I predicted was. Tell me when you're good.
Yep. Just keep going.
Yeah. So my point of view is that you need to punch it out and work out what's wrong and get a resolution, because otherwise, like, your relationship, if it's lacking now, it's just going to keep lacking. So you might as well deal with it right now. Yeah. So that was my attitude, and pretty much I talked.
I don't know. We've lost pretty much
Everything.
All the internet, like, just went to zero. We're back to good.
Good. Online.
Yeah, I think we're back to being good.
Okay. So the plan was to go on a trip with a family. Luckily, in hindsight, that my dad had retired, so I tried to get him into the trip, which I thought was good to do a bonding with him at the time. I thought it was just bonding with him, and once in a lifetime opportunity to.
So did you have an inkling that there was something coming on the trip, or
no? So every time, like, this was brought up, I think there was like 4 sessions. She talked about divorce, was like very liberally, like, people just do it, and or like cheating at work, like people in a workplace were cheating on with each other on their partners back home, and going, oh, this just happens, it's just like normal stuff. And you're just like,
do you think that was happening for her?
It was like, I guess the sex wasn't happening at home, so it could have been happening elsewhere. But
yeah, okay, but you don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure. Well, I didn't know that she had a shoulder injury or that her dad died. So Like,
Why would you know anything else?
like it's perfectly reasonable for that to be, going past my radar. Yeah. So planning this trip, and before we go, she said something like, "This is going to be the thing that repairs us and make us, we're going to really get to know each other better and stuff like this. This is our retreat, this kind of stuff."
Heard that one before.
Yeah. And
I think the sound is cutting out.
sound. Oh no,
Oh no.
is it cutting up?
Well, the stream looks like it's actually performing a lot better than it did.
However,
But I guess we can try turning things off and on and see if that helps.
okay. Short break.
Short break, everyone. We'll be right back. There we go. Hopefully that sorted it out. We are back. Let's keep rolling. John, you were
So
telling us about
yes,
this trip.
epic
This was going
trip.
to be this epic trip. Was going to be a huge reset for you guys. It was going to bring you together in some way that hasn't been brought together before.
Yeah, and it was all about us. This is what she said in private. So sister's going, cousin's wife, couple of kids that they have together, uncle, Arnie, and a friend that called me fucking idiot.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So she's coming, which we didn't get on poorly. Like, it wasn't, that was just one incident, but like, I don't know. You stick up for your partner, I think. That's more the point of that conversation.
Apparently not getting any sound.
What was the last thing they heard?
We need to kind of fix this up. Hello, can anyone in the? I think it's back. Okay, maybe there's a delay on the sound, so let's keep going. We've got someone saying they think it's back, so let's continue. So yeah, you've got all these people coming. Any more people? So the person who
My dad and
your
myself
dad and
and
yourself
my ex.
and your ex.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a fair few of us going up. And from the time we left, it just didn't stop raining.
Oh no.
So setting up in the rain, packing up in the rain, setting up in the rain, packing up in the rain, driving like 800 Ks in a day
Yeah.
in the rain. It's just rain, like
It's rain.
just miserable for a bit, which is fine. Like, you're just trying to race up. It's just setting up, and everything always being wet is a challenge. And I just to backtrack a bit. She had endometriosis and had to have surgery and all that stuff because we were trying for a kid at that point.
Yeah.
Because that was going to fix the relationship too, I guess. But then, so we're on mid trip, and we get up to Cairns, and it's the first time we have dry weather, so it's time to dry out everything.
Okay.
And
So I'm actually going to try bring this up for everyone as well. Oh, okay. I'm going to try bring up a computer display.
a map.
There we go. A map. So
Yeah.
we've got started out down here, Central Coast. If everyone can see that. Started out down here. It's a big trip. Let's even write Cairns in. Cairns, Queensland. So just to Cairns, we're talking. Does it tell me how much, what the directions is, how long it's going to take?
It's like 24 hours.
Yeah,
driving.
it's a long way. I'm just trying to keep talking, and I'll try to get up I'll try to show everyone what's in terms of um
Time wise,
yeah,
distance.
time wise to Cairns, because Cairns is a long way.
Yeah, it's a long way.
It's like very north of Queensland.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's because I didn't put in
once we got
starting
there, it
information.
was time to dry out everything. And my auntie used to live in Cairns for like 20 something years. And I apparently had been there when I was a 1-year-old.
So were you doing like a coastal run as well? So were you going up through Brisbane, or was it just straight up through the guts of Queensland?
We started on the coastal road and then went in, I think.
Okay. So I'm just going to bring up a map for everyone. So if you can see, it's 2000 from the Central Coast to Cairns. We're talking the shortest route going straight from here to there is 2,300 kilometers and 26 hours worth of driving.
Yeah.
And if he's done a bit of a coastal run, then it's been even longer than that. So you're very far from home
Yeah, yeah.
in a car.
And not quite there yet.
So that's just so everyone can understand where John is kind of coming from in terms of how far from home he was.
Anyway, so then we get to Cairns and she goes, well, we need to dry everything out. And a friend flew up because she's from Melbourne, flew up to Cairns to meet us at Cairns and go from there.
Is this a new friend?
No, the friend.
The friend that called you an effing idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, do you want to go into Cairns? And I was like, oh, yeah, like this is our trip together. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And Dad was there. I was like, oh, ask him if he can dry our stuff. She's like, oh, okay. Well, then I have to stay back because there's only enough room in the car for, my sister and we're, like counting out people that were going. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go
Without you.
hang out with your sister and your friend.
Who hates me.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
doing it together. And at that point, all we had done is driven and driven and driven.
Yeah.
Stopped and set up in the rain.
So what was the car situation?
That was me, Dad, and my ex in the car, and would rotate drivers. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
She got along with my dad pretty well, not my mum. And probably not me.
Apparently. So what, she was talking to your dad most of the way, or what was the conversation? What was the conversation like?
Oh, we had music going, and I don't know, talking. Like she was missing a father figure in her life, so I think she had a few people that she clung to that were dad age, so uncle and my dad, which is that's how it was.
But there was no kind of inkling for you that there was, I guess, a boulder coming your way?
Trouble afoot?
Trouble afoot? There was no kind of...
Oh, no, because everything she's like, so through the therapy, like, I was like, oh, I just don't believe it. And then by like the fourth therapy, and she's like, no, you just, these are the things that you're projecting. It's not going to happen. I was like, okay. Sort of, that was starting to seep in. And anyway, so she goes and picks up her friend, and
you stay back.
I stay back, get stuff dried, and like wash. Like there was heaps of stuff. We washed all the stuff that was wet.
Were you like a campsite or like a
it was like a caravan park so we could wash the gear.
Yeah,
like so we could wash our clothes and dry them out, and that worked really well.
Cairns is absolutely beautiful. If anyone ever gets to go,
I'm not going there. Yeah, well, I hate it.
I can understand why for you, but for others, it
would be a good spot.
It is a beautiful spot. I went honeymooning up there. It was amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so she comes back and can't keep her hips off her friend, and like they're just like close to a friend. And, like setting up the camp chair. She's next to her friend, and then showing photos of how they've went to all these lookouts and taken photos of each other in Cairns. It's like it's a mountainous region there.
As in what they just did that then.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
like, we haven't taken any photos together.
yeah.
Like this is our trip,
It's kind of
and you're hanging out with your friend. It's like, and so
better
at that
relationship
night I go,
than she does with you.
yeah, I go at that night I go, oh, like, you said it was meant to be like our trip, and like you're not spending time with me, and you're spending time with your friend, and
Yeah.
like even like when there's an opportunity to sit next to me, you're sitting next to other people. I go, the other couples here all sitting next to their partners,
Yeah.
and I'm with my dad. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And then we go on further, and she gets a period. Maybe that's the key.
As
Who
in, like,
knows?
the trip continues.
Continues, yeah,
Yeah.
get a bit further along. She gets a period, and not much changes as far as being close to me.
Yeah.
And where do we get? We get to the start of the Telegraph track, which is a famous four-wheel drive track. I hadn't done four-wheel driving before that. Like, I've been in a car while someone else does it, but never done it. And never really tickled my fancy. Anything that costs a lot of money to do, not really my fan. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, pretty simple.
Decking out your car.
Yeah. To ruin it again. Like, not my thing. But anyway, so we get a bit further along the Telegraph track. We do a bit of forward driving. And it gets to a point where the way that they've planned it out is we're falling behind with time.
Yeah.
And it was like we had to make a decision whether to go back and set up where
was that because it was hard? Getting through the full drive track was harder than first anticipated, or is it?
I
just,
think they were timing
just
it
behind.
They were timing it with just one car.
Yeah, okay.
Rather than with like a convoy. Yeah, so it was more like just you had to check it out and then make sure everyone gets through it clear, and
sure everyone
before we can move on. And so it's a bit more of a time consuming idea. Like it wasn't that anyone had any troubles necessarily. It's just
you want to make sure that everyone gets through fine.
Yeah, and so it takes a bit more time. And it was like, oh, we have to circle back to where we camped the other night because we were taking the Telegraph track, but there's a sort of like a highway, like a graded track, which goes parallel but way faster.
Yeah.
So you can go back on it easy as.
But you do the Telegraph track because you want
up there. That's why you're doing it.
That's why you're doing it.
Yeah. And then like a decision was made, and then I just jumped in the car and took it over the river, and apparently that was a big mistake. She's like, oh, like I didn't get to do it at all and stuff. And like early in the day, I was like I'm happy just to be in the car while it's happening. I don't have to forward drive.
Yeah.
Like this is not my thing. This is like your family's thing and all that stuff. And I gave it a go. I just gave it a go just because like, you're there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like nothing there I planned.
Yeah.
I was just like there.
So how did you end up in the driver's seat for that particular?
Just because there was a decision made, and I was like, I'll grab the car because we had walked and scouted ahead, and like to get back to the car, it's like a while away.
Yeah.
So I just ran back, got the car, and then.
But she didn't say anything. She was like, "Oh, no."
She was there watching and could have like flagged me out, going, I want to do the river crossing, and I would have been. Like,
yeah, no worries.
I would have been happy again not to do any of the forward driving and just been in the car.
Yeah. So in your mind, you're just trying to be helpful.
Just trying to once a decision was made, it was like, this is what we're doing. This is what needs to happen. And that's the kind of like at work, that's what it is. Make a decision, try to make it happen.
Yeah. And so did other people have to go back for their cars too as well?
Yeah. So all four. So 4 people went back.
Yeah. Got the cars.
But she was with like cousins. Her cousin's kids and stuff like that at the time, so it wasn't like she was in the circle of people make decisions and stuff. So
yeah.
It was just and then she's like, oh, I didn't even get to do forward driving today. I'm like, I didn't even want to do forward driving.
Yeah.
I'm just here because of you. Like, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
and I'm here for us. Like, I don't know what the go is. And then the next day, next morning, I woke up and I said, do you want a hug? And she looked at me like I like punched her in the face or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'll just go over the top of you. She was closest to the ladder on the bed.
Yeah.
And so we didn't hug.
You
Just got out of bed. And then after breakfast that morning, she's like, yeah, it's over.
Just like that.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm like, oh, what's up?
It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, look, what's going on? She's like it was the final straw when you said, do you want to fight this morning? And I'm like, do you want to fight? What are you talking about? She goes, when you woke up, you said, do you want to fight? I said, do you want a hug? And she's like, no, it's over. I'm like, what? Like,
So did she hear something in her head to what you didn't say?
I don't know. Maybe
You
she was
want
looking.
a hug. I mean, they're two very
very different, but I don't know. And
but she had made the decision.
She had made the decision.
Like, even if you said, hang on, that's not what I said. I said hug, and she was already had made up her mind in her head.
We got in the car because there was like the uncle and cousin, like, we need to go on the road, rah. So she had already said that she wanted to break up, and we were on the road to go further north.
Yeah. Okay. So she said, it's over. We're breaking up.
Yeah.
But you're continuing with the trip.
Well, I was like, oh, no, like, let's talk about it, that kind of thing. But then the uncle and cousin are like, we have to move.
We need to move. We're running out of time.
Yeah, like we're burning daylight. Yeah.
And so she jumped in your car.
Yeah.
Yep. So still in the
and
same
then
car. Dad's there still.
Dad's still here.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, lucky.
Lucky for him or lucky for you?
Lucky for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would have just into a tree at 100 k's an hour.
Yeah. As in on the way home or just
any which way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's continue. You hopped in the car.
Going
north
and
still.
Trying to sort it out. Dad's in the car, and then Dad's like,
being quiet or
no? He's like, oh, is this because I'm like on the trip? Is something I've done? So
yeah. Okay.
Trying to no, this is like, in my mind I was like, and said out loud, like, this is something we've been going to therapy for in the last few months. And then she broke down in tears, and I won't forget it. Like, she had a friend.
So her friend is in the car with you guys?
No, in another car.
Different car.
Friend, a cousin, female cousin. So there was another one. Sorry, the female cousin. She was actually a quality person. The sister, and then the cousin that had the kids, and his wife. The wife obviously was on her side. The sister was on her side. The friend was on her side. And the only one to ask me how I was doing was the female cousin.
Yep.
And because she had went through a bad divorce just a year ago.
Yeah.
And so she just knew it was a shit situation. And probably, I don't know if she processed all this, but like, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
With her family, and like, it's pretty shit.
Yeah. Bad times all around.
Yeah. And I was just trying to process things, and everything was just going round circles really, really fast, like really fast. And I'm just like, what can I do? Like,
how do I fix this?
How do I fix this? How do I get home? How do I, like, because she wanted me to leave. So she goes, so it's up to you what you do now. And I'm like,
so you're in the car, you're heading north, and she's broken down in tears, and she's like, getting
reconciled with the cousins and stuff. And I'm like, at first, before she got in the car, I'm like, well, if you want to go with the girls, go with the girls, because it's a whole separate car.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's fine. And then talking, and then she's just like breaking down. Like, whenever she wanted to cry, she could cry.
Yeah.
and that won a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
And
so-
when I say arguments, I mean like it wasn't even
Just everything stopped. Just no
no.
conversation.
I mean like it wasn't like I don't know what's a big blue. It was like I was like oh, so she wasn't very affectionate. I'd say oh like I don't feel like we're in a proper relationship. It's like we're roommates that sleep in the same bed.
Mm.
And then like she'll cry and win the argument.
Okay.
It's like, well, we haven't sorted anything out, and I'm just trying to sort it out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was like what is a big argument? Like oh you're at the pub all the time with all your mates. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Like you should be at home with your family, or you want to have kids together and you're at the pub. It wasn't like that at all. It was like I want a relationship and I want to not have I want to have a bit of independence is the clash.
Yeah.
And I think I know now that a relationship is a sacrifice of independence.
Yes.
Hence the relationship.
Yes.
So at this point, she's gone into the car with other people, and then once we got to the next stop, like
so she jumped out of the car. What, like a hazard crossing, or just like
no, just middle of the road
Middle
sort
of
of
the
thing.
road. Got on the radio.
Radio, pull over. I need
to jump out. I need to jump in someone else's car.
Yeah, and then
get back on the road. You get to the next stop.
Pretty funny. So something.
Are you now?
Through all this,
you want to tell everyone the joke you told me before?
No,
everyone. John is so funny.
Yeah. So we get to a point, and I'm like, well, so what's happening? When she's finally able to talk to me, she goes, well, if you want to keep going up north, we won't be together, but you can keep going on the holiday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if we're not together, I don't want to be on the holiday.
Yeah. So
there's the whole premise of this holiday is us
to be you two.
Yeah. With everyone else.
but this is your time to be about you guys.
But then I go, well, I don't want to be here if we're not together.
Yeah.
And I go, and she goes, okay. Well, I go, so what is it then? She's like, we're not together. I go, well, the closest airport is Cairns. I'm not driving back.
Yeah.
So it was further north. Look up Fruitbat Falls. This is where we put it.
Falls.
North Queensland.
Let me pull this up. Fruitbat Falls.
And my wife can attest to this. I can't remember what yesterday was. But this is like seared into my brain.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot further.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull this up.
Okay. So get it, all the numbers up for the viewers. And I'll tell her what she said.
So now it's he's now 3,100 Ks north. So Cairns is just here. So everyone sees my cursor there. And they've gone another, let's even just do this, eh?
How far away is it from the coast?
From
like time-wise?
From the Central Coast?
Yeah.
37 hours.
Okay. So these are the options she gave me, right? She goes, well, you can drive back home.
Yep, you can drive 37 hours. So you've gone a further 11 hours north.
Yep.
900 kilometers.
Yeah, 1.5 days.
So that's from Cairns. You've gone
like 1.5 days of not sleeping and just driving.
Yeah.
And that was her contemplation to me. Is I can just
you can drive home,
and I'm like, well, I'm not in a state to really drive at all.
Yeah, drop me.
And because I was going
36 hours.
What are them attacks called? Panic attacks, like that kind of crap was happening. Yeah, it was inconsolable. Weeping a lot. Not very masculine, that's for sure.
For you.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not.
What's changed?
I'm not driving back. And we had a trailer. We're towing a trailer, so it was like that
Yeah, the
36
temp-
hours would have been a bit longer.
Yes, yeah, it's not going to go
A-
quick.
and that's without filling up, and you have to fill up 3 times.
And eating and,
Yeah.
and rest.
Oh, I didn't eat. I didn't need rest. I was alert and not
So
hungry.
you've said drop me off at the airport.
No, I said I will detach the trailer here. You can take it.
Okay, and so
I'm not taking the trailer
you
back
would
with
take
me
your car to the airport
and leave it there.
and leave it there and fly with your dad home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but that's not what happened.
No, that's what happened.
That is what happened.
Yeah, yeah. But so
the airport in Cairns is the one you took.
Yeah.
Okay.
The uncle and male cousin helped detach the trailer.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, thanks heaps. Sorry about this," because this was his retirement getaway.
Yeah.
So we attached to that, but then it was about us internally.
Well. Yeah.
Sorry about the retirement. Didn't mean to.
If you're watching
ruin
out
it.
there, what's his name?
Mike.
Mike.
Michael.
Sorry, Mike. If you're out there,
Good guy. Actually, good guy. Proper good guy. He goes, "Oh, no dramas." And I go, "Yeah, well, there were a few dramas."
Yeah.
Even in the
I think that's an
whaling.
Aussie trait is to try and make humor out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I was really happy with that, even after the fact.
Of course you were.
But yeah, so detached the trailer, started driving down, and the roads up there, it's not sealed at all, and
it's all
they
dirt and corrugated,
and heaps of ruts in it, heaps of big potholes.
Yeah,
I was flying hidden potholes at 100k.
Yeah, and your dad's in the drive.
Yeah, he was like, he was worried.
He's
So
like,
I was like,
am I going to see life after
focus.
this?
So focused.
So you're driving down to Cairns.
Driving down to Cairns.
Not saying a word.
Did you and your dad talk? So I've always had a bit of Tourette's with flies, fly-induced Tourette's. If they buzz in my face, I just like, fuck.
Yeah. You don't like flies.
Yeah, I really don't like flies. For a long time after, so I told you last week that I had the facial, like I still have no facial recognition.
Yeah, that was a conversation we had off air. So
no, I had it on air with you.
Was it
last week? Yeah, I asked if you had it.
Yeah.
I asked if you had it. You said no.
Yeah, no.
But I still don't have facial recognition from if I had to be pretty close
to recognize someone.
Yeah. So what I had was stress-induced Tourette's for real. Like I'll be alone or with someone, and all of a sudden I just have these outbursts of swear words and like getting the sweats and anger and stuff like that.
As like a PTSD response as well.
I guess.
Oh man. So you're driving back, you're getting angry at the flies,
and then just like, oh fuck,
get out of my face, you damn fly.
No, but not from the flies, just from thinking about what had happened.
Was there actually a fly in the car?
No, but I get that just in general.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so back on track.
You're just really angry.
So we stop off at a cattle station because this happened at whatever time, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, okay. So you're not going to drive 11 hours straight to the airport.
Yeah. So it's not just roos out there. There's wild cows and bulls.
Yeah.
That cross the roads.
And crocs.
Yeah, but I'm talking about driving on the roads.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Emus.
Maybe. I didn't see him. So
the roos are big up there, though.
Pull over.
Huge.
Yeah. Pull over at this cattle station, and Dad was really trying to help out. I actually called Adam.
Your brother.
At that point, yeah. And that was a tough one. I was like, going through in your mind, what am I going to say? And you get something in your head. And then it just was wailing as soon as he answered the phone. As soon as I heard his voice.
Yeah.
That's been the most difficult part since, is thinking the people that were around me when I was such a loser.
Yeah.
Like going through the breakup is how I've affected other people.
Yeah. I had a similar experience as well. My best friend. I'll talk about that later.
Okay. So I've called Adam up at the cattle station, wailed, and just pretty much said, look, this is what's happened. I'm going to need,
Through the tears.
I'm going to need support. I got people I know through OzTag Men's who are like lawyers and such, and can get in contact with them and just get the ball rolling. So when I get back, at least, because I know.
I guess I guess you can take away from that is that you're a man of action, and you kind of.
So this is what I hate and like about myself. This is what she wanted, and I was giving it to her.
Yeah. Okay.
She wanted the separation, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to facilitate that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So it's sort of like, yeah. Anyway, so that happened. The next day, we got to Cairns, got on the plane, and at this time, there's still the COVID, not restrictions like as far as movement goes, but as far as transport's concerned, you wear masks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was having panic attacks, so breathing through a mask, so I had it like halfway down. But that was really hard being on a plane for like, I think it was like 3 or 4 hours. It wasn't like that long considering how long it took to drive up. It wasn't that long to Newcastle Airport. And we had 6 months of rain at that point. And everything was flooded, and they didn't know if they could land it. I was just like, oh, this is just like
just my luck.
Yeah, this is meant to be like, this meant to just be as crap as it possibly can.
Yeah.
And then we'd organised prior. So we stayed at night in Cairns, then caught the plane. But we organised with my sister to pick us up because she's a stay-at-home mum.
Yeah.
So it was like midweek, and she was able to
come pick you up.
Come pick us up. And my brother-in-law was there. And again, I was just wailing home, trying to keep it in. But then when you keep it in, it's just louder when it comes out.
Yeah.
So that was like embarrassing. And it still is. And nothing's changed. Then when I got back, I went back to like our mutual house, like
the house you have.
I just started like
packing.
No. Just started going about life as if nothing.
Then went back to work.
Straight back to work. I called my bosses when I was in Queensland and said what had happened. I'm going to be going back to work as soon as I can, as in
get your mind off it
straight away, because I'm most likely going to need the money for lawyers or whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next.
Did you have a joint account?
No.
Okay.
Separate in finances and separate in emotions and
everything.
Just completely separate.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like looking back now, like that was one of the first things that going into a new relationship, I was like if that's something you want, just let's end it here. Because if you're going to try to be independent from a relationship, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's not to be like coercive control. It's just like we're not even going to go down that road if that's your view on a relationship, because that's not my view on a relationship.
Yeah.
Get back home and get back to work. And so the reception up north's really terrible. Finally get a phone call from her, and I explained, like I went to therapy, one of the sessions on my own, and said what had happened and how I was not dealing with things. I had got some.
So what's the timeline between the phone call?
So it was a 4-week, camping trip.
Yeah.
And we're not even a week in.
Okay, so what, 3 weeks? You've been at home for 3 weeks almost?
No, so this is in the 3 weeks. I have went to therapy. Went to the doctors. Work, doctors, got a prescription for anti-anxiety,
Did you get like a mental health assessment?
It's really easy to get pills, apparently.
Yep.
I just said I can't sleep, which I couldn't. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Couldn't sleep. Couldn't even drink to sleep, like drink alcohol to sleep, because
was that something you were turning to as well? Was alcohol?
No. Well, I tried to on that at the station.
Yeah.
That we stayed at, But straight away, like within a beer, I had like a headache and was feeling sick
Yeah.
just from the anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like just not reacting well.
Yep.
And so pretty early on, I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I also had heard on a like an AM radio station thing, they're talking about how your memory is triggered by music. So I'd stop listening to music
altogether.
altogether because
You were afraid something would come up?
well, didn't want to have this period of time to be put into a song, and then when I hear that song, it opens back up again.
It's okay.
So I say this, and it sounds like I like there's heaps of things that I was just like really prepared for in a breakup, but there's like I was like on edge all the time and not ready for this at all.
Yep.
There's a few things that I did right. There's a lot of things I did wrong. I messaged her a lot, and this is going forward a bit, and pretty much it was like, this is what I've done in the relationship, and this is what a relationship should look like, and this is what you've done in a relationship. So it's just like I'm a better partner than you are.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much. So that looking back now,
It wasn't helpful.
Wasn't helpful, and like it made me feel good for a second because I was like, yeah, I'm right.
Yeah. Coping thing.
Yeah. And then when we met up, she'd be like, "Oh, what did you expect would happen with that? Like, I know I'm a shit partner."
Yeah.
Okay. I go, I don't know.
So you got the phone call.
I got the phone call, and I was like, back. I blamed everything on work. I was just like, because works was
her work or your work?
My work.
Yep.
So again, as I said, your personal life bleeds into your work life, and your work life bleeds into your personal life. Work wasn't going great either.
Yeah.
And it was definitely bleeding into the relationship, like stress, like on both ends. And then I blamed just the work side stress. And then it's like, like trying to work through it, rah. And if when you come back, we can maybe just see, if we can make it work still.
Yeah.
And she's like, change tune. She's like, yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so there was a...
Yeah, it looked like whatever was looking good.
Bit of hope.
Yeah. Oh, hope. I don't think that's a good way to describe it. It was a really bad... I wouldn't even call it a relation. Like, the relation side of it was not there in any fashion.
It was like you were kind of holding on to the tiny embers that were...
Those the moments. And the thing that really struck me with having a really healthy relationship now is that I was clinging to like 3 moments where I felt really warm inside and really good about this relationship.
Yeah.
Over 4.5 years.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's 4.5 years, don't you have more than 3 moments?
Yeah.
I was like, the strike rate's really low.
Yeah.
You think that's over 1,000 days?
Man, your wife now must be smashing it out.
Yeah. At the park.
At the park.
So, where was I with that one? We've decided that we might give it
another crack.
And see how it goes. But when she got home, she couldn't stare at me. Couldn't look at me in the eyes or anything like that. And then by the next day, she broke down. She's like, "No, it's over."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Oh, like, come on, like, we haven't even tried." Yeah. And then after a little while, her mum came over and she just like broke down crying. Like, she wasn't crying in front of me, but then broke down crying and was like at the breakfast bar. And then the mum came in going, like, "Look what you've done."
As in you?
Yeah.
To you? Yeah, okay.
At the time, I was just in shock. I was like, I haven't hit her.
Yeah.
Like, because her mum was like...
thinking the worst?
No, she was... her husband used to beat her.
Yeah, okay.
So her dad used to beat her mum.
Yep.
And apparently abused the kids. I don't know what fashion. They just said abuse.
Yep.
And she's like, Yeah, well, she's really good, isn't she? Like
As in, so your mum's putting a lot of blame onto you.
her mum's putting a
Oh,
lot of
her mum's putting blame onto you.
yeah. And then I was just like thinking after the fact, I was like,
I haven't done anything.
no, just like this is a relationship that's come apart. It's not one person.
Yeah, there's two of you in it.
Yeah. And like, what, because I'm not like crying, I'm just like, in shock.
Yeah.
I, like, it's my responsibility just because she's crying.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like all the disagreements were like that, where she just cry.
Okay, so after that, the separation just started happening, or the like what was?
So there's all through that I gave her an opportunity to go like, no, it's like we're going back.
Let's try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listed all the things that we've done good together. Like, like this is what we've done
looked at the
together. And,
positives.
what's that?
You looked at the positives.
Yeah. And going through after like completely splitting up, I did some another session with the counselor and asked him to give me resources.
Yeah.
And then through the resources, I was able to determine what my characteristics are with like relationships and with people out. And apparently, and I had to sort of reverse engineer this, is I see the best parts of the relationship.
Yep.
And what she sees is the worst parts of the relationship. So she remembers all these bad times.
Yeah.
And I'm holding on to these good times thinking, how great was that relationship?
How great was that?
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, that's true. That's how I see things. I'm like, oh, outside of these three things, like there's a lot of either dead time or like bad times.
Yeah.
And there's not good times in between these three good times.
Fun to do a deep dive into your other friendships.
I don't have any friends.
Brothers.
Yeah, I got 3 brothers. Yeah, so then through that, the breakup period was kind of crap.
Yeah.
So so I told her, look, this is what my lawyer friend from OzTag has told me. This is the process. I go, do you still want to go through all this? Like, or is there still chance for us to get back together? And she goes, no, I'll contact my lawyer. Rah, rah.
Yeah, so stuff to do with like the house and whatnot.
House and assets and all that stuff because we had car, camp trailer.
De facto relationship.
Yeah, de facto and declared de facto. So there's no her trying to refute that at that point because we had both declared it the year before.
Yeah.
And then at some stage later on,
she keep the wedding, the engagement?
No, I said I want that back. I go, so with the stuff that's in the house, like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. And she goes, I want to buy you out for the house because she wants the house.
Yeah.
I go, well, I don't care about the house. The house wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then I go, but I want the ring. And she goes, okay. I go, no, but I want you to hear why I want it.
Yeah.
I go, well, because that was me promising forever.
Yeah.
And I haven't, you haven't fulfilled, your end of the bargain. So I want it back.
Yeah.
So I can give it to someone that, deserves it.
You didn't get the same ring to your current wife?
Not the same diamond.
Same diamond.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's one I picked out, but I chose that diamond.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah.
And the clarity, all the stuff was good, and then getting it evaluated was worth more, and like selling it secondhand, like you get nothing for it, like relative to what it's worth.
Secondhand diamonds never.
And then try to buy it back, it's like you're at a loss there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes to me after I'm like, oh, so is there a chance of us getting back together? And she's like, well, you already made up your mind when you talked to your lawyer. I'm like, you mean that guy at OzTag that was like a friend, and
you just wanted some advice?
Wanted advice to how to how the process goes. Like it wasn't like I was had a paid lawyer or anything,
Yeah.
or had anything like any contract signed, like drawn up or anything like that, or that he was representing me at all. It's just he gave me some advice.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you made up your mind." I'm like, this is all your choices, and I'm just
You're just seeing it through.
Yeah, just like the camping trip.
Yeah.
Like I'm just there, and that was pretty well. That's not her fault entirely. Like I didn't step up and make all these decisions.
Yeah.
And like the house, again, I don't care. The house that I'm in now, a house is a house.
Yeah.
It's a family inside it.
Yeah.
Um,
So it makes a house a home.
yeah, but then the next house, I'll be putting picking that one out and doing all that because I think it's a part of my responsibility to make decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But anyway, so she's not entirely blameless there. Like, sorry, not
Entirely blameless.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a bit of blame there. Yeah. So she's somehow turning it in her own head that I wanted the breakup. And like,
Even though she was the one that instigated it.
instigated and everything.
Through with
Yeah. And then I've given her prompts to come back. And then she's somehow said that because I contacted my lawyer friend that I'm responsible for the breakup.
Yep.
Yeah. And then from there, had a few back and forths, going to lawyers and trying to fit that through like a full-time job is really difficult when you're working weekdays. I was really lucky with my work that I was able to make time, phone calls and all that. But I got to a point where we were drafting up what the divisions were and what where.
Yeah.
It gives a whole list of things that you say you've contributed as in financial, and then other things where it's like domestic stuff. And I reckon I did 60-40 at least.
Yeah.
And she said 50-50, and that just made me go bananas. Like not at anyone. I just was like,
just made you angry.
Yeah, I was like, this is like a court document, and you're saying that you're doing even. You're taking, because she earned a bit more than me. She earned worked less hours, earned more than me. But good on her. That's like, you picked the right career.
Yeah, definitely.
But sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. As far as pay is concerned, yeah. Yeah, so she's put down that she's earned 60% to my 40% or whatever it was, or 55 to my 45, whatever that percentage was. Yeah. And then gone, well, we do 50-50 domestic jobs. I was like, no, that's not what's happened. And so then, because her lawyer was drafting out the thing, he goes, she's, ex-partners listed that she did 50-50. John's disputing that 60-40. And then it was like furniture, was majority ex-partners, and then John nil. And I go, well, some stuff's mine, some stuff we bought together.
Yeah.
And then my stuff we threw out because we didn't need two of everything.
Yeah.
And my stuff was the stuff to go. So I'm out of pocket my furniture.
Yeah.
That includes beds, drawers,
whatever,
bookshelves, desks, stuff like that. So that was another thing that was just like why? Like why word it that way? I don't know if it was just the forgotten, or like the lawyers, that's just the way that they word things or whatever.
Yeah.
But then what ended up happening, it got to a point where we finally agreed on everything. Oh, actually, I backtrack. I put down softball installer as my occupation.
Yep.
Because I install softball. And she must have had autocorrect and it says soft ball installer, and I
What, they
brought it up
fixed
with there was a few amendments, and each time I was like, oh, and that hasn't been fixed. That hasn't been fixed. And I got to a point at the end, and she goes, if you're going to ask me to do any more revisions, I'm going to start charging you. I go, well, you haven't got it right the first time, the second time, or the third time. I don't even know what a softball installer does.
a softball installer.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't even know what they do. And then she,
Like, not even a softball field installer. It's just a softball installer.
yeah. So then she wrote back promptly and goes, oh, I'll make the correction.
Yeah, good.
I was like, I'm not paying for your autocorrect, making mistakes. Anyhow, that happened. We finalized everything. And then
Did it end up just being 50-50?
60, 40 or like 55, 45 or
So you did
like
end up getting
46. I don't know. It was
you
like
ended
something.
up getting a bit better than 50-50.
No, less.
You got
I was
less.
I was on the lower side. She earned more money.
Yeah.
But then what didn't come into effect? So it was bills. What you contributed, because we weren't at a threshold. There's like a different thresholds for period of time that you're together without being married.
Yeah.
And then if you're like married, I think it just is 50-50.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you're before the threshold, it counts what you've contributed.
Yeah.
But won't look at groceries or anything like that, or bills.
It's just
she paid a majority of the bills that were like quarterly or whatever. I paid like monthly bills.
Yeah.
Because I like my wage could support a small, like, because it's weekly.
Yeah.
Could support the middling bills.
More instant stuff.
Yeah. And I'd pay for the groceries, and then we'd both pay the same amount to the house, equal to the mortgage repayment. So we're paying double repayments.
Yeah.
Because we're both working, which was like, it was wise at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And ended up being really wise for getting paid out, which I didn't care about the money once it came through, because I thought it was dirty money. I was trying to give it to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone.
Yeah.
And no one would take the filthy money. And then when I got with my wife, it's coming really handy.
Yeah, I was a recipient of some of your generosity there.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, I tried giving it.
I don't want your money now.
I tried to give all the money away all at once.
Okay, fair enough.
To a few people, and no one took it.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't, because you'd be in a very different place now.
But with that, it got to a point where the process is, from my understanding, and I've had lawyers explain it to me, but I'm trying to recollect. Your ex, if she's buying you out, will pay to a court holding.
Mm-hmm.
So a court account that's holding the money.
Yeah. Before
it goes to the person that needs to go to. So
you.
Me.
Yeah.
And that's the process. And because it's a house, you need, what are the house lawyers called? A conveyancer on both ends. One to send the money and one to receive the money. And then, so X sends it to her conveyancer, who sends it to the court holding. Court holding sends it to my conveyancer, who sends it to me.
Middleman.
Yeah. So that's the process. And at that point, and we're with she was a police officer, we were with Police Bank. The Police Bank knew what was going on and approved her for the extension for the payout. And it was like, I think it was like 5 days or 7 days away from, that payment from being done. And I talked to the lawyers just before, just to see what the process was, because I was like, I don't want to get to the day and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So they explained that to me, and I go, and gave my ex a call and said, "Look, you can't send me the money. It doesn't work like that. You need a conveyancer."
Yeah.
Okay, the advice I was given is that we can get a conveyancer each, or we can have one conveyancer do the transactions both sides,
Yeah.
and it might be a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the conversation I had. I then get an email from her lawyer the next day going, she won't be paying for your lawyer, for your conveyancer, rah, rah, rah. I'm like she was fighting me on that she didn't have to have a conveyancer. Why would, how's this conversation being converted to she's paying for my conveyancer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I ring her up and this was on a Friday afternoon. I still am dealing with work, managing
Yeah.
a crew. And I just blew up royally and said, if you call me one more time, I'm going to call the police for harassment. You need to talk to your client first and work out what I've actually said before you start emailing me, because I'll see that as harassment.
Yeah.
It's so unnecessary. But I use a lot of colourful language and she goes, this was Rich. She goes, I think if you call me again, I'm going to have to call the cops because this is intimidation and harassment. And I'm like, what?
So she just repeated what you
Yeah.
just said.
It's just oh, mate, get a different job, or ask your clients what's been said before you send out emails. But having said that, my lawyer mate said, if you get into it deep, the lawyers will love it.
Yeah.
Because they charge I can't remember X amount of dollars per email.
Yeah.
Per email. So they go, they want the back and forth.
Yeah.
They want it because they can charge for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Don't like lawyers.
yeah. And then I was like, I really don't like them. They're circling sharks, waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
So they can then go for it, like tow truck drivers.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, it all went through, and then I had to start really looking at my life and what was so unattractive about me. That was seriously the point of view.
What you were going through your head.
Yeah. I was obviously trying to work through work as well, and I think through the whole period, I was also really trying to stay away from. So I told you I had the sleeping pills and the anxiety pills. I felt really numb, but just existing.
Yeah. So we learned how you, John, have hit rock bottom here.
Yeah, I'd say a large portion of this is immaturity.
Yep.
So I hadn't gone through hadn't experienced a lot of life, and then
this is your first.
It was like a
big summer suffering kind of thing.
Yeah, it was I was kept alive just to suffer more, sort of thing. That's what it felt like. I was just I was existing to suffer.
Yeah. So now you've hit the rock bottom. Where are you going? What's happening next? You're feeling like there's no hope.
Well, there is no hope at this point. And everyone around me, I told you last week by the end of your story, everyone says it just takes time and to give it time and it'll come good.
Yeah.
Which is the truest words, but so useless.
Yes.
When you're suffering, it's just I don't care about the next year when I'm feeling better. I care about right now.
Yeah, I got that a lot too. It was more. It doesn't feel like it now, but you'll thank God for this kind of thing. And there's nothing truer, but seriously, these are some terrible words to say. Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work through things. What really helped, I'll go through a couple of things. The book Attached. Check that out if you're struggling, or especially if you're struggling the same ways with relationships. It might illuminate a lot with that. And then through I don't know.
You can't do it.
Two magnets is it's the front of the two magnets like facing each
Okay,
other. Is
yep.
I think in the shape of a love heart, two magnets.
Yep.
A good book though. It explains attachment theory and pretty well the
I think I found it.
anxious avoidant trope was described in the book, and that was like it made me cry 3 or 4 times. I've read it or listened to it a couple of times, and each time I go through it, it was hard to go through because it was very much our relationship at the time. Well, reliving our relationship at the time, but now I'm all good. 10 Rules of Life for Life is Jordan Peterson. I think that one.
Yeah. So
The attached was like understanding what was happening, which
for
was
those
good.
who don't know, attached. This is attached.
10 Rules for Life. It was more of a practical.
10 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, more of a practical way to do positive feedback loops and improve your life slowly. Because when things are shattered and like completely out of whack, it's really hard to fix things because they're so
Were
big.
you reading these books or were you listening to them on audiobook?
I would start reading them, but at night, listen to it through the day, audiobooks.
Yep. So both.
Both. The Exodus series actually helped out heaps. I guess if you're a Christian, it would help out a lot more than non-Christians, unchristians.
The Exodus series that the Daily Wire ran with Jordan Peterson.
But it's on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah. So absolutely awesome series.
Yeah. But it pretty much describes. It's more of a psychological taking of.
Yeah, it's a bunch of experts in the field, kind of talking about going through it, both Jewish, Christian, and really interesting stuff.
Story writers, all that kind of stuff. But pretty well, it's sojourning through the desert, and that's where you find yourself when
they're wandering through the desert.
Yeah, and wanting. So at some stage, the Israelites go, "I want to go back to Egypt where they were enslaved," and that pretty well described where I was. Where I just kept on going, "Oh no, you can come back." It's like, you know that the fish is like there's slavery there, but you still get fish or food or whatever, bread.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, but the bread's worth being enslaved, but it's not. I before that I thought having male friends was just gay, and I've just one.
Just one.
Yeah, so I've worked out through that having a good bunch of guys around you. There's a few guys that came out of the woodworks. Gary was one of them. My male cousin was another that he's got like 10 years on me.
Yeah,
but like just people that call that you don't know, that you don't expect to hear from. They become like the best people in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people hang around, don't they?
Yeah.
Like a bad smell.
So the rule doesn't always apply, I guess. More so through the relationship, I was trying to make a family and sort of had my family to the side a bit more. And then I realized, like, when you go through the breakup, who's there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you end up keeping the more closer ties with your family, and that's definitely definitely important. And if someone's trying to take you away from that support network, it's probably
not a good thing.
Yeah, probably a big red flag there. Don't.
Yeah.
If you can't question that, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We learned that from my experience last week as well.
Utilizing, so not using, but utilizing your friends and resources. So YouTube's a good resource as well. So, but springboard off your friends, because there's some ideas that you have when you're down and dark, and they sound good in your head. But if you have someone you can talk to and say, "Look, I'm thinking about doing this," they can say whether it's a good or bad idea. And having that relationship is really important.
Anything you would say was a bad idea that you came up with? Like,
I wanted to kill myself, but
yeah, that's definitely a bad idea.
I wanted to do it where
make sure you check on your friends. Are you okay?
Actually, I won't go into detail with that. That's just embarrassing.
But again,
Embarrassing.
if you're in a dark place, make sure you speak up. No one's gonna
Yeah, and
turn you away. Suicide's a big thing, and we don't want to see people take their own life. We're all in this together.
have the meaningful friendships too, so you have someone to talk to. Like, seek that out. Like, I didn't have that at the time, except for like my brother, but obviously Gary was better equipped at the time to help me through that. But
Yeah.
Adam was definitely someone I could say, I feel like doing this to myself, and he would say, don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But moving on from how crap that was pretty terrible. That was a terrible time.
Terrible time.
It was only 4.5 years though, so that's not too long. I tried to learn the lessons. I was like, this is really crap. So what can I actually do not to be here again? That was literally the processing after the fact. That it was like, okay, I got a little bit of money. I got a car. I don't have any debt. Like, I'm 30, 31, 32?
31 at the time.
31.
Maybe 32.
We knew a lot of, like, there's a lot of single girls out there, yeah?
There's a few.
Yeah. And I knew that
There's a couple
girls.
in our friendship group.
Yeah, definitely. And so I was like, I need to make myself. Actually, I need to backtrack to more loser stuff. There's a moment in the whole breakup after we'd completely broken up. I was moved in with my parents, which is, I love my parents. It's good that I have that connection there. But you've hit rock bottom when you're back at home with your parents. And I think
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
That's where I ended up as well.
And
I love you, mum and dad, but yeah, it does hit you pretty hard.
Yeah. And it's a constant reminder when you're going home from work, not going home to the home that you knew, you're going home to.
That's right. And something that you wanted for so long and thought you had, and then it's gone.
Yeah. So there was a moment where I was in bed crying. So this is a one day off I had in the whole time where I couldn't get myself out of bed. And I was just crying, going, oh, why don't girls like me? Why did she leave me? Like that kind of crying bullshit. And I had like this out of body experience where I looked at myself from above on the bed, like above the bed, looking down at myself, and like, this guy's crying like a little bitch. I don't want to be around him. Why would someone else want to be around him?
It's a very different story, a different experience to one I had. Hey, just looking at our two situations, it's just very different. Hey,
and I think that was probably the turning point to actually proper
get back on my feet.
Yeah, I go, what? Like, there's women out there, and I'm not like I'm not an abusive guy, and I'm not I don't do drugs and all this stuff. Like,
look, if you're not hitting any women, you're halfway there.
Well, apparently they get girls as well.
They do.
Moving on. So then I trying to get resources to just improve it, even subtly, like slowly and over time, and get myself to a position where I can date again, and just learn the lessons and go, this is what I want the relationship to be, and then just be really upfront with that.
Yeah.
And then
that was a big thing for me as well, like making sure you're very open and honest and communicate clearly of what's happened, where you've been, and where you'd like to be.
Oh, the stuff that was easy, just explaining where, like, this here's easy, like, it's not hard to just
articulate.
Yeah, well, it's just things that have happened. So it's like just events, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to then learn from that, process what you want from the relationship, tell the person what you want, and then so I was really judging my wife's reactions to the questions, and then going, is she being honest when she goes, that's what I want?
Yeah.
Because like women can go, oh yeah, this is what I want. So my ex-fiance, she said, like, so I wasn't for like going in for a kiss like really early on and going, oh, that's what I want. Like even though that's what I wanted, I was just like, I'm not going to just go "Ugh," straight away. And then
I don't think anyone.
she sent me a message going like, oh, why haven't you kissed me? Like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know you wanted me to kiss you or whatever. And then down the track, I go, like, why don't like we don't kiss anymore? Like, what's going on? She goes, I don't like kissing.
Oh,
I'm like, then why the hell did you message me to kiss you? Like at the start, like when she goes, oh, that's just what people like do. So I thought it was weird that we weren't doing it. I'm like, well, we're not doing it now.
is it still weird or not doing it
yeah,
anymore?
like I'm taking crazy pills here. I feel like
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Zoolander's manager. Yeah, it's like there's heaps of bonkers things like that. It's just like, what's going on here? Like I'm definitely like going insane. But anyway, the hard part was then trying to process: is someone actually being honest with me?
Yeah.
I think that was like asking the question was easy. Going, oh, this is like I don't want you at work if we've got kids because the kids are more important than work.
Yeah.
And the way that's phrased, it's like obvious, right?
Yeah. So it's actually kind of more trying to line up your values where you didn't before.
Yeah. And I go, if, there's a lot of things that were like things that happened in the previous relationship that I felt like helped facilitate the breakdown. And I would ask pretty important. There's some questions that I thought like didn't need to be asked in the original relationship that did, like, do you value sex in like in a marriage? Or relationship? Do you value affection or time together? So there'll be moments in my old relationship where the way the lounge room was set up was there was two walls that were opposite each other, and she had a massive couch that she would have to put one there, and like they were 7 meters apart.
Yeah.
And I'd sit down on one, and then she would come in the room and sit down on the opposite side. And it's like we're 7 meters apart, and we're like,
there's no closeness there.
Yeah, it's like we've got this big house together, and you're like sitting like the furthest point from me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you don't want to sit next to me? Like, let's go.
You stink.
I do stink though. That's fair. But I think you look beyond that or smell beyond that, maybe. I don't know. So there's questions like that I thought were like, if you're in a relationship, this should be a prerequisite, but I was asking them intentionally because I didn't want to go into a relationship going, this is what a relationship looks like, and then go, oh, no, she doesn't think that's a relationship.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of
intentional
and things like so we were engaged for 2.5 years with my ex.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want a long engagement. I don't want a long dating period. I like it needs to be, if we're deciding to date, we're going to test the waters for the shortest period of time and then go, are we going to get married or not?
Yeah.
And then that's how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that's how it went.
That's how it went.
That's exactly how it went for you guys.
Yeah. And then we were even saying, how soon do we want kids? It's like, we don't want to wait.
Yeah, straight away. Get into it.
Oh, actually, I'm going to backtrack way back. Sorry, guys. This is like flood of memories here.
What my friend calls a Gary jump.
Yeah. Okay. So this is triggered by, so obviously the baby story. Baby, we tried and got pregnant, honeymoon baby.
Yeah.
That stuff. With my ex, we were trying for a kid. We weren't having sex, but we were trying.
I think that worked.
Yeah. Anyway, we tried, like, so we were having, like, it wasn't frequent, but we were having sex, but not frequently. And we were trying for a baby. And she was like, oh, like, it's not going to happen. Like, you know, there might be issues. I go, well, we should try before we see
like specialists and
stuff.
Start
spending money on, you know, when like the natural process can sort of
work.
Yeah.
See if it works first.
And anyway, for 6 months, nothing happened. And then I'm like, oh, try to track the ovulation.
Yep.
I did that, and we had a miscarriage within. So the first month using the sticks, she couldn't detect her ovulation. But then the next time, she was able to detect the ovulation. And then by the third time, we had the miscarriage.
Yeah.
Um, and then she goes, "Oh, we need to see a specialist. We need to see a specialist." I go, "Oh, we've only really tried for, not even 6 months, not even a year, sort of thing." And she goes, "No, I've been trying longer than you have. You just didn't know about it. Like, I was trying 6 months before that."
What does that mean?
Like that she was, like we weren't not trying. So like there was no prevention.
So she wasn't. Yes. Wasn't taking
like
the pill,
she reckons she was
example.
tracking her
ovulations
through
beforehand.
the apps and stuff like that, and we were hitting the days or whatever. And I go, "Well, isn't that something like I should know about?" And she goes, "Oh, I didn't want to, worry you." I go, "Yeah, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's kind of important for
Hey, you
me
got
to
some
know."
great communication skills.
Yeah,
between the
it's
two
just
of you
like
there.
everything was like days, weeks, and months behind. Like just information was not flowing.
Yeah.
But I'd ask direct questions and be like, "Oh no, nothing happened at work." And then next couple of days, I got a grazed hip because of that,
Yeah. Whatever.
incident at work.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Anyway, not a nice person. They weren't even like the personal stories that she told me at work that were.
So when you had the miscarriage, did you ever think that there was more to the miscarriage, as in like you've gone, well, let's just keep trying, but miscarriages can be quite traumatic for.
No. So I tried talking about that because I went like, I felt the pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, we should probably deal with this together. Like, how are you coping?" She's like, "Nothing. It's fine. It's just a cluster of cells," like that kind of thing. I was just like really dismissive, and I'm like, "Yeah, but like we're trying, and it was exciting for us. Like we were excited, and trying to get anything." She's like, "Doesn't bother me like that." And then, no, again down the track, she goes, "Oh, and we had that miscarriage because her friends are actually." Her friends fell pregnant around the same time.
Yeah.
And then when we had the miscarriage, she was upset. And then when the best friend had the kid, she came home really angry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong? Did something happen at work?" She's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. Like, it's stupid." I'm like, "No, like I want to be like, I know I can't understand what happens at work and stuff, but
I want to be there for you.
I want to be your partner through everything." Like, and she goes, "Well, it's just, this couple have had their baby." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So why are you angry?" She goes, "Oh, we had that miscarriage back around the same time, and, and upset with them." Like,
Do you think she was actually carrying something that she never actually dealt with?
yeah.
Through that?
Yeah. Yeah, that and all the stuff with her dad being abusive and leaving her dad in the way that they did, and all that stuff. I think all of it plays in. But I think, like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that, but like you got to try to deal with it. Not
So I don't say
ignore
those things to try point out and say trying to make excuses or anything like that. It's more just like
no. But I'm just saying, like, everyone has their stuff that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
But you got to deal with it.
Yeah. You can't just throw it under the
and affect other people as well, like on the way. Like, and that's not just saying me. I'm saying
under the rug.
Every relationship, unless she deals with it, will be more or less the same, unless they find someone that's equally as avoidant, and the relationship somehow sustains itself without having relation in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I did like the whole. It's like a paradox there, where it's like you need to be with someone, but you're trying to not be with someone. It's like it doesn't really work very well. I can't get my head around why you would enter into that if you want independence.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
by
now,
the end of it, I dealt with what I had to, and that stuff there that I can't get my head around. I'm just going to accept for now that that's not going to
so with your
resolve
I
itself.
guess throughout this kind of suffering, finding new hope, finding a wife, being able to kind of get yourself back on track and stuff. How does your relationship with God, did it change at all? Did it grow? Did it?
Yeah, so I went to a like before my ex, I went to a Pentecostal church and sort of fell out of like not out of favor with God, but with churches. I
Yeah.
don't like churches as much, and still have a bit of a aversion to um, the organization or the building of the church. Um, like there's still, I reckon, good people in churches, but uh, there's a lot of self interest in some.
Yeah.
You can agree?
Bad people in every
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. But when they're saying it's for God, I think that's a whole nother level, right?
It depends on the context. I'm not.
If I said to you, give me
Give
all
me
your
your money.
money
You think?
because God said that if
Yeah.
you give me your money, then like you get blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the prosperity gospel. That's
yeah,
no good.
yeah. Okay, so or anything that you say is of God that is
Yeah,
just
and
you.
I'll debate anyone for that. I don't think the prosperity gospel is any good at all.
Um, but yeah, definitely, my relationship with God's deeper, and what I've noticed, at least in my life, so it's all just my point of view, I guess, is the closer you align that your life with the book,
Yeah.
the the better. Like it outlines how to have relationships with neighbors, how to have relationships with friends,
Yeah.
how to have relationships with
There's
your
actually a
wife,
lot of good
your
practical advice
your
within that book.
children. If you align that, those things work out so much
That's right.
better.
Yeah.
How you
Yeah.
have a relationship with the government too, which is a struggle for me, but
It is a hard one,
yeah, but
especially during COVID.
it tells you how to do it, and you just
Yeah.
gotta um you gotta do it. It's like if you had a piece of bread, right? Uh, say the good side of the bread is the word, and the moldy side's the word. Sorry, world.
Yep.
You can't have 10% mold on your bread and eat it and go, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to 100%.
100% the word.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like being of the world, but not in the being in the world, but not of the
yeah.
world. Yeah.
But yeah, through that, definitely
Yeah. You fundamentally changed.
the hope was found. Despite the suffering, like or through the suffering,
Yeah.
even
Do you think your kind of suffering elevated your relationship with God?
God and my current partner, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I always liked the story of Samson and of Moses before the Exodus series,
Yeah.
because I felt in my time before, learning what I have now of the Gospels and Old Testament, that they didn't have a choice, but God used them anyway, utilized them anyway.
Yeah.
But the more you read into it, the more He's fulfilling their heart. So what they wanted, He gives tenfold.
Yeah.
It's just not the right thing sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, so the Pharaoh, God honors his heart. It says hardens in English,
In
but if you
English,
watch
yeah,
the
it's really hard to
ha-
break down the actual translation there.
it says hardens, but it's strengthens or honored
Yeah.
is a translation. And strengthen would be he wanted this, or honored is he wanted this.
Yes.
And God just goes, you can have it.
Yeah.
And it's repeats itself again in, is it Leviticus, when they complain to God about the manna.
And he gave
He
them
goes,
manna from heaven.
yeah, they
Gave
go,
them heaps of food.
yeah, food, enough food to sustain themselves.
Fill your bellies.
But they go, no, we want the bread and the fish that we had. We had flesh before, and we want it. And he goes, well, you can have that, but it's going to come out of your nose and your ears.
Yeah. That's
like,
it.
like you can have it, but it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have so much of it that it's going to consume you.
Yeah. I had someone put it this way: is like if you keep having the same food over and over again, you just get over it.
Even manna from heaven.
Manna from heaven, even manna from heaven.
Yeah. So strengthen that relationship, but also with my current wife, I can remember vivid things that have happened to me in the past.
It's funny you say current wife. Like it is. She is your current wife, but it makes it
Current partner, current wife.
insinuates that there was a previous wife where there wasn't.
Not one that I've told her about anyway. Yeah, no, current partner, current wife, whatever.
No, yeah, no. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
Nitpicking.
yeah, it definitely has strengthened that relationship because I can remember back to what a relationship looked like before and like a very unhealthy one and go, this one is
Way better.
a million times better.
Yeah.
Plus
I can relate to you there.
Yeah. So you're just like simple things too. Like they just remind you when they unprompted will hug you and stuff. It's like this. I didn't have this before.
Mm.
And,
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
yeah.
or no strings attached. Questions or like you have a discussion. You're like, oh, that was so easy to make a decision because it's not like pressure, to make a decision.
Or opposing forces.
Yeah. So simple things and much better.
And so, what would you say? So you've gone through a bunch of things. Give me your top three of what helped you get through it. Get through this the tough time and into the good time.
Originally, so
I guess
in the meat of it, it was my relationship with my brother.
Yeah.
Like if I was to kill myself, it would have been, it wouldn't have just been just me. It's like everyone that knows me and close bonds would hurt the most or be hurt the most. The other thing was I still had stuff signed to, like, because we hadn't fully broken up at this point, in her name. So if I was to go, like, she just wins. Yeah. She wins that breakup.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like what's the point? Just to have her win? Like she gets, I'm dead and she wins.
Yeah.
So then, thirdly, what was the question again? Just before.
What was the three things that kind of the top three things that got you through the tough time?
Oh yeah, and then family and friends, creating new bonds. I think was, but I said that earlier, was like a big thing. Like there was people that I wouldn't expect to come out of the woodworks that did, and then relationships formed. You, my current wife, not my previous one. Wife. Actually, no, she is my previous wife. Last year. Yeah.
Your current still
my cousin, your wife too. I think there's there's a lot of conversations with your wife at group settings, not one-on-one.
I'd be having conversations with you if you were having conversations with my wife one-on-one.
Yeah, and then what?
And then what? What do you mean? We'd have a conversation about it.
Okay.
And I'll beat you in a wrestle until you call your brothers.
Yeah. So they're the three things.
Yeah. Well, so everyone, let's all thank John for sharing with us his story here. If you have any questions, send them through in the comments. If you actually need to reach out as well, hit us up in the comments. Pretty sure you can find our email on our YouTube channel as well. johnandgarylive@gmail.com. If you need help, if you want some support, we're happy to do that. We're all in this together. We're all fighting together. We're all um, yeah, we're a team, and we want to see people. If our situations, if our journeys can ever help anyone, if we can just be there for people, then we'll do our best to do that for you guys as well. We really enjoy. We're really thankful that you listened. If you've made it this far, so thank you so much for listening
Thanks.
throughout. Yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show. If you think this story might actually help someone, hit it, send it to send it to someone, send it to your friends, and yeah, we would love to. We'll see you next week. John, you want to say anything in closing?
Yeah, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not ignorant to the fact that this is just one side of the coin.
Yeah.
And that I didn't conduct myself perfectly in the relationship or with the breakup. But
I think I pointed that out for my story as well.
the one thing that I did say from the outset with the breakup was I wanted to walk away from, and this I hope helps anyone that's going through this. I want to walk away from the agreement, not feeling like I cheated them or they cheated me. Like I wanted to feel fair, and not just today, but like, down the track, I don't look back and go, oh, like I really, robbed her or she really robbed me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that probably was a good example of where I did something right, and I'll definitely put that forward to anyone that's going through that now.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you, John, again, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Catch up.